This composite was from a recent 3-hour edit I made. Not extremely advanced, but not extremely easy either. So I'm just going to break down step by step what I did to composite this. First, I usually start with a set of optical flares. I will start with most likely this layer, which is this lens dirt right here. The way you can get this is by going into options, and you can clear all and then go to global parameters, scroll down to lens texture, and I chose messy for this one. I think it looks pretty neat. Moving on to the second optical flare, it is in options and lens orbs. Again, complements the messy texture pretty well, especially if you use it right. I usually add a blur to make it a little less harsh around those circles. I think it looks pretty nice. Then I'd move on to adding uni heat wave. I stopped using this effect a while back, and I started to really like it again pretty recently, especially if used correctly. I don't know if I do, but I think I would say it looks pretty nice. Comparing to the base settings, all I do is turn down the blur amount, and then I turn down the flow speed to around 5 so that it's not going super distorted, but just has a nice like heat type of blur. Then we move on to the amorphous lighting. I usually have this set to a lower intensity, around a 40 intensity. I put it on a higher resolution speed, such as 440, to mess with how it interacts with the scene. You can mess with the random seed, any of the other settings in the fractal noise. And in this case, I have it matted to this solid layer 4-color gradient. If I turn this on, it's just a 4-color gradient. And the amorphous lighting very faintly brushes over the 4-color gradient and shows it. I have it set to luma matte and inverted matte. I have another 4-color gradient right here, and the difference between these two is that this is not matted from or to anything. It's on soft light, opacity is lowered, and I just have it kind of moving around the scene. If you were to look at it in full, you would see that it's simply all 4 points are just duplicated, these 2 keyframes, and moving around the scene. I think it adds a little to it. It's just nothing crazy, but I do think it adds some nice bright colors. For some more directional lighting, since it's coming this way, I have an S-rays effect. You can copy these settings. It's pretty simple. It adds a nice little haziness to it, but if you wanted to change the haziness, you could and make it a little more ray-like. You could decrease the blur amount or increase it like I did in this case. Moving on, I use film convert nitrate. You can just copy these settings. I like the grain. I usually lower it a little, and then I'll mess with whichever one this is. Usually did not in this case because it looked fine. I messed with this a little. I wanted this to be more blue than warm, so I decreased the temperature a little. Nothing too serious, just adds that. And then moving on to my looks, my CC, I really brings it together here, my CC. So we're gonna have a look at that real quick. Moving on to the CC, I'd say it's relatively simple. Wherever you want the light coming from, I usually add a spot exposure. Very faint in this case, you know what I mean? You can increase it a lot if you wanted to. I didn't think it was necessary. I used to use lens vignette differently, maybe have it cover the whole thing, but in this case, I am using to cover the part, and kind of drag it over here, mess with the settings, try to take away and put some blackness over on the left side like that. I use haze flare, super low, super simple, add some haziness, it's nice, colorista. I used it to get some warmer midtones because I thought it would look neat. Get some more purple shadows and bluer highlights, keep it all around. Mess with the curves a little, see what fits best. I use Mojo because I just think it tightens the clip so well, especially if you work and you crush your contrast to make a clean plate, which I'll go over in the next tutorial. Mojo kind of cleans it up, tightens the whole clip super well. The Mojo setting does a pretty good job at this, The problem is that in many clips it will turn the clip more so blue than anything. So I like to usually use punch, which is like Mojo, except it just kind of cleans it up without making it any necessary color. I decreased the warmth, made it more cool, increased the magenta, and yeah, that's basically it for that. I usually find one LUT that kind of looks like what I'd go for, and then just decrease it a bunch, and that's what I did here with the universal log V. Pretty simple, same as this. All very minor changes that aren't super important, but I think they all add to the clip in their own way. For this, shadows and highlights, again, I personally clean up my clips a lot, maybe a little too much in some cases, but that's just how I do it. So that's my CC. Very simple, very self-explanatory. Moving on to my 2 adjustments layers on top. These are extremely important. I add vibrance to an adjustment layer, decrease the vibrance just a bit to make sure that my clips are never too oversaturated. My last adjustment layer is an exposure adjustment layer. I think I actually got this effect idea or composition idea from a editor named 5Roa or something like that. Shout out to him. He makes very cool tutorials, and I think I watched it one time and just remembered it. So you add this. Basically, all it does is you decrease the gamma correction. It starts at 1, and you decrease it, and then you increase the exposure. It kind of gives it, especially on these more pinkish and composited clips, a very cool look. It very much tightens it. That's about it for this vibe-ish impact composite tutorial. A lot of it is very self-explanatory and simple. Yeah, I hope this was helpful, and thanks for watching.